We welcome you to the Bridge 99 FM, the station designed and dedicated to unite Jamaicans and Jamaican lovers all over the world. This is the Public Eye with the open mind. I'm Ronnie Thwaites, and with me is the Honorable Pearnel Charles O.J. For the first time in our mutual history, Mr. Charles is to the left of me.
You mean physically? Because politically, I may have been there for a while.
Believe me, it is a special occasion. I have never understood that he would have been there ideologically all along. But there you are. Stranger things have happened.
Yes, Ronnie, and you say, even if we're there, one of the things that you and I are able to do is to balance not only time, transition, and people at whatever level.
And transcend.
And it is not easy to be able to deal with uptown, as you physically call it, and downtown. And both of us have survived there. You were a member of Parliament for Central Kingston, and I was councillor for then uptown.
Look at that. Sir, God save the King. Are you celebrating King Charles III, King of Jamaica?
I am recognizing King Charles.
You are.
Under the Constitution of Jamaica.
Yes.
And I hope that under King Charles, we'll be able to say goodbye, King Charles.
Nicely put. Nicely put. Delicately put.
But you have to recognize, if you are fair, that you have to deal with what is there, hoping to make the change if you want to change, or live with it if you don't want to change.
Well, let me tell you.
As far as I am concerned, I want to change.
I would rather, if we had to have a king, salute you as King Charles rather than the gentleman in London, because you have more affinity to the people of Jamaica and have served them better than he has. And I'm not just buttering you up. I'm using the pun of the name in order to make a profound point. And while I agree that we are bound constitutionally and embarrassingly for me and you to recognize this gentleman as King of Jamaica, I am profoundly disappointed that we still have to trifle with those contradictions 60 years after our independence. What say you?
Well, you have been reading from the script that both of us wrote. But to be honest, I am not as unfair to King Charles as you are.
Oh?
Because King Charles is not only King of Jamaica. And what I see going on in Britain today, the millions of people.
Which is wonderful for them. I respect that. I found on the occasions that I met along in your company very often, Queen Elizabeth, I found her to be a charming lady, a delightful guest, but not my monarch. And the imperial crown that lies on the cushion on top of her coffin does not represent. I do not wish to be part of that empire.
Well, I am going to disappoint you in the following statement.
Yes.
I don't blame her. I blame Jamaicans.
Yes.
I blame those of us who have been here since who first started.
Yes.
We could have declared that we are an independent republic the very day that we became independent.
Yes.
We didn't. And in fact, those of who wrote the Constitution made it so hard to leave that you wonder if we are going to leave at all. Because you are now saying to leave we have to have a referendum.
Yes.
And there are many people in Jamaica who are black, some black like me, some blacker than me, who are more for the king than you who are not so black.
Indeed, I'm surprised that over 40% in the latest poll, it was 54%, I recall, who were in favor of ending our relationship with the monarchy as head of state. And that would mean that the remainder either were soft on it or were not in favor of that. And again, that is a source of embarrassment and a testimony to the lack of public education, I would have thought.
Well, the embarrassment that both of us have is for two different reasons.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed that we had an opportunity to leave the Queen from 1962, and we have not done it. And it's not the Queen's fault.
No, not at all.
Because the Queen don't give me anything.
No, well,
I went and see her
but
sometime.
she took a lot.
What?
She and the system that she represented and presided over took a lot and continues to take a lot. Britain's prosperity is a consequence of Caribbean and African pillage.
And Ronnie, as a trade unionist, I will tell you that some of the big people in Jamaica are there. They are because they sacrifice of the little people.
No, undoubtedly, the same is true to a different extent. And my criticism is not blanket. We gained many things from our British connection. We gained the English language, such as we are familiar with it, and we can talk about that. Yes, I for one benefited from an English education in part, for which I'm very grateful. They didn't have to offer me that, but what was taken from us historically is much, much greater than that which we have been given, and is yet to be balanced.
Well, where I am a little soft, and I recognize my softness, is that we are the reason for that.
I'm accepting that.
We are the one who...
After we join Irwin Clare, another royalist, I wonder, at Ira Jam.
Not because he's from St. Anne. He may have a
your
big
volume
difference.
is so loud, it's from that end, it's confusing us, eh? Please. Yes.
Gentlemen?
Yes, Irwin, hi. God save the king.
Yeah, King Charles, that is Pearnel Charles.
Irwin, let me tell you.
Pearnel Charles.
Let me just tell you exactly in 10 seconds what happened 2 mornings ago at the tennis court. When I went to tennis, all the players were standing to go on to start to play. So I arrived, and I looked at them and said, "Gentlemen, I'm here." They said, "What's that?" I said, "You don't hear that I'm no king?"
so they didn't get the memo.
They should have been standing at attention.
Right.
I'm disappointed.
Yes, they should have been.
I'm
they should
disappointed.
have consulted my co-host as to what to do when I arrive.
Right. I wonder if that's the interpretation of the new king. I mean,
Listen
is
to
that
me.
how we were treating him too?
We take serious thing, make joke. You know, I remember Irwin Clare broadcasting from Ira Jam in New York City. I remember why it is that we made it so difficult to separate ourselves.
Why?
It was because there were strong commercial, political, and social elements in Jamaica at the time who felt that if we had not accepted the Queen as Queen of Jamaica at that time, there would have been such a rupture that the independence project would have more resembled 1865 than 1962.
Yeah.
That was it. There were people in my family who left Jamaica at the time of independence and went abroad. Yes, because they feared the Black Revolt.
Yes.
And the way to appease and to show that this was a natural evolution rather than a far-reaching step was to maintain trappings like the monarchy and the Privy Council.
Well, Ronnie, let me say this to you.
And the Westminster Constitution, which has strung us up in virtually a prime ministerial dictatorship.
Well, let me say this to you.
Pearnel is sitting to the left of me, Irwin. I don't know how.
Yeah, Ronnie. Irwin, I've always been to the left, but I was silent.
You're silenced. You're silenced. Okay.
Every time I speak out on the left, they silent me.
And yet you're the one who had the wig on and the gavel. And they silenced you.
Mercy.
Devastating. But let me just say though, right?
Make your point.
Let me just say that I would say Norman Manley and Bustamante were leading the force.
Yes.
And I say that Bustamante would have been considered by me, although it may be easier for me to say so, to deal with the social part of it. and Norman Manley would have been the man to deal with the legal and other things. And so Norman must have felt the Jamaican pulse.
Yes.
That he walk out there, and we're not. Well, I didn't say independent, but we are not a republic.
No, we wanted to avoid rupture, and republic and rupture are words that are too close, Erwin.
But let me ask you this though, gentlemen. Is that the same sentiment today, that government is probably scared of the referendum, that it may not deliver what they want? Because is that it? Because if my memory serves me correct, on this platform, former Prime Minister Bruce Golding, what did he say? 15%?
Well, let me say this today, and I'm a political science student. My profession is not in government; it's in politics, and I am worried that what may be different for different reasons than 1962. But there is still a very strong element at all levels. In fact, more at the bottom level now, who still don't trust the leadership of the Jamaican and the Caribbean people to leave the Privy Council and come here.
No, man. I don't.
Wait for the referendum. We have lost.
But that's it, Mr. That's it, Pearnel. The referendum. I think we're using that almost like the boogeyman, Because my question I'd like to ask: is there something, and maybe Ronnie can answer this, and many people have asked me this question: is there something in our Constitution that says we must have a referendum to make a determination on whether or not we really? Is that so?
Yes.
Very short. Very short answer, Erwin.
But there's a deeper issue before we go to the break, gentlemen, and it is the unfortunate thing is after 60 years of independence, such as it is, the level of trust in ourselves, in our government, has not reached the heights. In fact, it has descended to certain lows that will still make people resort to reliance upon the white queen or king of 6,000 miles away.
Indeed.
Rather than trusting in the God within ourselves.
And at the same token, the same queen, in this case king, in order for us to enter their country to get the kind of redemption we seek, we have to apply for a visa.
Well, because Jamaicans, man, we exploit many things.
No, but we...
No. That's not the angle I was looking at it from. That's not the angle I was looking at it from. But I guess we're up on the break, gentlemen.
Up on the break. When we come back, the status of the Jamaican soul in relation to the British monarchy. Oh, not the Jamaican monarchy. Soon come back.
All right. Welcome back to the Global Connection Hour here with Erwin Clare. And on the Bridge 99 side there in Jamaica is Reverend Thwaites and Mr. Pearnel Charles. Just want to say welcome to all our listeners and thanks for staying with us as we now resume our conversation. Gentlemen.
Well, you see, I'm all for courtesies, and I no one who is a Roman Catholic, let alone a Roman Catholic clergyman, could be contemptuous of ritual and so on. So I understand why today, when we were waiting on the program, Pearnel was tuned into the BBC. So was I. Yes?
Yeah, but I tuned in the BBC because of certain things.
But then no, you really want to tell me that Mr. Holness and Sir Patrick Allen have to go at taxpayers' expense and probably with others?
Yes.
To London?
Of course.
Because
it's a Queen's business. We are still handling the Queen.
Yeah,
that's why you wanted me to take off the wig. Not until you take it out of the Constitution. You're going to take off my wig.
It will be a long. It will be a long time,
Yeah, but
let us hope it's not going to be long.
It's going to be a very long time.
But there's some things, gentlemen. There's some things though that, and again I'm asking, and I'm hearing these things. I need clarification. Why is there something again in our laws that says that when the courthouse open in the morning, you have to say God save the Queen? In this case, God save the King. Is that something that we have to say?
This week they start say God save the Queen.
The King, yeah.
The King.
It's tradition.
Well, there's some traditions though that if you're serious about how we move on, that we also move on from some of those traditions too.
Well, listen,
because again too, we cannot be accepting what do you call it now, titles from the very entity that we are also advocating that we want to live.
Well, at least we don't do that anymore, except the Governor General. The Bajans still do that. But Pearnel will remember in Parliament up to 2020. I used to read the prayer, I suppose because I'm a clergyman, and the traditional prayer from 1962 prays for the Queen and the royal family and
let me say it for you. You leave out the line, and we were about to put you out. But
I left out the line and prayed for the people of Jamaica, Erwin. And
can you imagine, Erwin? He's a pastor, He's a reverend man. And he refused to pray for the Queen and all her heirs and successors.
I prayed for the Jamaican people instead. And
I say you should pray for both.
and Minister, he's a
I can understand.
Minister Warmington wanted to hold me in contempt.
Yes.
we are generous people.
I saved him from being thrown out.
We are slavish people.
Yes. Because after all, it's 12 days in the morning.
Just before you leave, let me tell you something. This we have far to go. Rania, do you know that every policeman button have on Her Majesty?
Yes, sir.
Do you know that every man that stamp in Jamaica having that?
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to talk.
Because we don't want
thousands and thousands of buttons.
Precisely.
And this.
And what I want
and all of this, the buttons and this.
Humbly and purposefully, we decide that we are a God-blessed people and that we don't hate people, but we are not going to bow before Moloch and Balaam.
Well, gentlemen, we have people here who are true patriots, who believe in their country, and continue to work on behalf of their country. And we have one such who is our guest today. Hails from that city, Hartford, where so many of our nationals have moved in the farm work program and have done stuff there and continue to do and have transcended. In other words, they have moved from becoming the workers on the field to the owners of the field. In fact, one name that jumps out of us, and I know both of you gentlemen are familiar with, Colin Bennett, who has been a staple, a name. When you can have a building in a major city like Hartford, have your name on it, it tells you the contribution of not only Colin Bennett, but of the peoples that he represents, primarily Jamaicans and Caribbeans. Well, today we have the president and director of the Hartford Caribbean Trade Council, that identifies and promotes business opportunities for importers, exporters, and service providers between Metro Hartford and the Caribbean. In fact, the nature of the rationale for them being on today is that in the news has been the new opening of a direct flight, the first of its sort, from Hartford to Jamaica, and this gentleman and his team were quite instrumental in making it happen. Let's welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Andrew Lawrence.
Morning, Mr. Lawrence. Welcome home.
Thank you, sir. Good. I'm going to say good afternoon on my part.
Indeed, it is afternoon in Jamaica. Even so.
May I just, on behalf of the rest of us who are here, congratulate you and say thanks for the work that you've been doing on behalf of yourself and the rest of us.
What's the history, Andrew Lawrence, of the Jamaican community in Hartford? Why did we gather in numbers there, and what's the durability of the national spirit in your community?
During World War II, the individuals that went to war, the males that went to war, were in the manufacturing sector. What ended up happening is the females moved into the manufacturing sector, and which left a void for the farm workers to come in. So the tobacco, the oranges, the apples, and anything that needed to be picked from the fields now became open for the farm workers program to begin and the farm workers program to flourish. That's what started everything here in Hartford. As a matter of fact, there's a gentleman by the name of Kenneth Bennett. 2 weeks ago, we celebrated his 100th birthday at the West Indian Social Club, and he was one of the original farm workers that came here.
Really?
He has left an indelible mark on Hartford, because when you really look at the chain of events, gentlemen, it's this. Mr. Bennett's daughter got married to a gentleman by the name of Bobby Gibson. You look at the article, Erwin, the state representative that assisted us is Bobby Gibson. So everything is intertwined. As I always say to everyone, that just like a road, it's all connected. We're all connected in some way, shape, or form. So whatever we do, other people has gotten involved, and it's because of their involvement and their connection why we are where we are today.
Mr. Andrew Lawrence, I would ask Erwin just for a few seconds to let you know that my mother is a Lawrence from St. Anne, that my grandfather have 22 children, and that if you are from Jamaica, you cannot be a Lawrence and not be part of my blood.
I tell you, this man link all over the place, you know.
Yes, we are from St. Anne, and we spread to Trelawney and all over the place.
No doubt to Hartford, Connecticut.
I know.
How durable? To tell you something else then, Mr. Charles, okay? The Prime Minister, not the Prime Minister, the Governor General, his name is Charles Linton Allen.
Patrick Linton Allen.
Yes.
Patrick Linton Allen, I'm sorry. Yes. And he's from the Allen side in Portland, and my mother from St. Anne's, Runaway Bay.
You're from St. Anne?
Mother.
My mom from St. Anne's, Runaway Bay. I was born in Kingston.
Okay.
Well, in St. Anne, right? But my mom is Dorothy Frederica Allen.
Oh.
And her father was Moses Allen, a fisherman from Runaway Bay.
And gentlemen, let me just pause here. Let me just pause here.
You know what his trainer thought.
Yeah, man. But let's pause here though. Let's pause here though, because we should extend condolences to Andrew. His mom passed away a few days ago, and we are still at that stage of mourning. But she has been a great contributor to the Hartford area.
What led you, Andrew Lawrence, into the odyssey of fostering trade between the Caribbean and Hartford, Connecticut?
Okay. My history is this. I'm a retired police sergeant from the Hartford Police Department. I retired from the Internal Affairs Division, which is similar to Indicom in Jamaica. And somewhere between the detective and the sergeant, I was approached to become the president of the West Indian Social Club of Hartford. Now, you imagine me, the president of an organization that has a liquor license in the same city
where you've been,
where I'm a police detective. So, I did what I had to do. I took the policy and procedures, presented it to the chief, and Internal Affairs at the time looked at it, approved it, said you're not violating any of our policies. So go ahead, do what you have to do, and don't cross the line. So I became the president of the organization. I was then approached afterwards to be part of the Jamaica Diaspora Advisory Board that was formed back in 2002.
Excellent.
And I went to the first conference in 2004. Mm-hmm. So me having the police background now became the director for the Northeast for the Jamaica Diaspora Advisory Board. From there, the mayor of Hartford said to me, well, after 2 years of being in the organization and moving the organization in a positive direction, as they told me, the mayor approached me and said, listen, we need to start a trade council, so I'd like you to head it, and we're going to give you all the support we can give you from the city standpoint, but we're going to give you 3 years before you have to be on your own. In 1 year, we were on our own.
Whoa.
And yes, in 1 year, we were on our own, self-sufficient, and doing trade. We did a bunch of things. We did trade conferences, we did summits, and I can honestly say and be proud of it with our team that we had is this. We are the only entity known, and I said known, that has assembled consul generals from every Caribbean island that was interested, ambassadors from every Caribbean island that was interested, to come into Hartford. So we're talking about at least 7 ambassadors from St. Lucia, Grenada, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, Guyana, that came to Hartford for the different summits. The trade missions, the trade summits that we had, JAMPRO got involved. JAMPRO was here. We had it at the Hilton. And then right after that, we had a Taste of the Caribbean event where all the products that came from JAMPRO, that JAMPRO displayed at that trade summit, went to a supermarket. Now, the supermarket has a buffet bar where you go, you purchase whatever food you want by the pound.
Sure.
We had a caterer go to that supermarket, and they authorized this, where the products that were utilized, that they sell, that were Jamaican, is what used to season up all the food, the meats, and cook the rice and peas. And it was a giveaway that day.
Wow.
At that time, one of the ambassadors came in from Washington. Yes, from Washington. And he met with Senator Chris Dodd's designee at that time. So, and I'm going to say it was Franz Hall, as a matter of fact. So it wasn't an ambassador. He was a representative from the embassy, and Franz Hall came in, and we had a meeting there. And I'll tell you this, the ackee that was on the shelf, they say it's the first time they had to restock the shelf 4 times.
Really? 4 times, ackee?
4 times. That one day.
I know we are hitching to plant ackee.
Yes.
Whoa.
Right? So, and then I moved from that. We started doing other things because the trade component is good, but what we try to do is the business matching to bring people together. Now, the other thing that we're the first known, unless something happened after I don't know about it, to become members of the United States Department of Commerce District Export Council. And that gave us an extra push to do what we needed to do for the Caribbean community to bring people in. So when an ambassador is coming in, like when Anthony Johnson came here, Ambassador Anthony Johnson,
yes,
I contacted Director Ann Evans, and Ambassador Johnson, I'm going to say, was the first known ambassador to address the House of Representatives at the state capitol in Connecticut. We had a luncheon there, hosted by the U.S. Department of Commerce. And Ambassador Johnson picked up a banana from the table and walked up to the podium. And I'm saying to myself, okay,
what is this?
What's going on with that banana, right?
Yeah.
And he started to explain how the right banana came into New York.
Yeah,
because
history. He was
started
quite a historian.
Yes.
And he was passionate about the farm workers. I mean, when you sit there and listen to this man speak, Ambassador Johnson, I think, was the only ambassador that I've ever met. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of ambassadors. Audrey Marks, our current ambassador, Gordon Shirley, the former ambassador Ralph Thomas, and then ambassadors from other countries. Caribbean islands. But Ambassador Johnson had the ability to speak on a high diplomatic level. Then he can come and speak to the members of our community on another level. And then he sits with the farm workers, and I watched him. He sat there tilted sideways with his legs outstretched and his hand on his knees on a whole reason. And I'm like, wait a minute, this man his ability to communicate was on 3 different levels. And when you get to that point, sometimes people say, well, they can't speak, so they speak over the head, I always say it, of the regular people, right?
Andrew, this is always stay, and this is the alchemy, the genius of the Jamaican people. When we come back from the break, Erwin Clare, I see the motif of Spirit Airlines in the background against that lovely picture of, I think it's Andrew's deceased mother.
And to Ronnie and Pearnel, we'll also find out too a little bit about that missing fire truck. Because I was a mystery one time, and this is the man who was the architect
about that.
Well.
We'll be back on the public eye with Ira Jam in just a moment. So, Erwin, I was wondering how this is now taking particular form. I gather that there's an air link which is going to
indeed.
unite us.
And you know, this is very interesting because for those who may not understand the logistics here, many folks in the Hartford area, New England, Hartford area, to get to Jamaica would be a very circuitous route. You know, it take you the whole day. Many would have in the Hartford area, and those areas would fly down in, drive into the New York area to fly into Jamaica, etc., etc. And for years, in fact, there has been advocacy to have such a link, and I think it has now finally come to fruition.
How did it come about, Andrew Lawrence?
Okay, this started, I'm going to say, in 2006 when Courtney Rattray, who is now the Chief of Staff to the UN Secretary General, was the charge d'affaires that was in Washington. And with our many trade missions and, not missions, trade summits that we had, the Caribbean Trade Council, we invited Mr. Rattray to Hartford. He came and, you know, whatever was on the agenda, we addressed it at that time. And then in speaking, Ambassador Rattray said, you know, Andrew, I'd like you to look into something for us. And he said, I'd like to see if we can get a direct flight from Hartford, Connecticut to Jamaica. The things we're looking for, waivers and terminal fees, landing fees, and handling fees. Those are the three he specified.
Yeah.
I said, okay. And that's where it started. It was a request from Charge d'Affaires, Courtney Rattray, who became ambassador to the UN.
Good man.
So, yes. And now, you know, we all know where he is, you know,
Chief
with
of
the
Staff,
UN Secretary.
yes. Mm-hmm.
So that's where it started.
Okay, and is it well patronized, or when does Spirit take it up? Has it started yet?
No, it has not. We did a press conference. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks since the press conference. And, you know, thanks to Ambassador Audrey Marks, who sent remarks, Diane Edwards from JAMPRO, who sent remarks, and also the Honorable Ed Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, who also sent remarks, encouraging. And as a matter of fact, Minister Bartlett said that he was going to come up to Hartford and inaugurate the flight.
Good.
So this is incredibly important. The first flight will be leaving 8 a.m. from what I'm told, December 15th. And it's going to be, you know, from Hartford to Montego Bay, 4 days a week. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday are the slated times. And once that starts and everything develops with Spirit, then I will see how I can encourage a second, you know, the other 3 days of the week, which is, you know, to go into Kingston, because everything is a stepping stone. And as we know from what is being in the media, is that JetBlue has acquired Spirit Airlines based on their shareholders and their stockholders' votes. So now the Federal Regulatory Commission now has to approve the purchase/merger of the two. So let us see where that goes. But for now, we do have Spirit, who stepped up to the plate and say, yes, they're going to represent Jamaica in a huge way. So what we now have to do as a people is to make sure that the airline capacity is there.
Andrew,
Yes.
hold on. Share with us now, though, because it's not just about butts and seats, but the opportunity for produce to come directly into Hartford. Outside of the routes it now takes, and share with us the opportunities there now for farmers and individuals with products coming into Hartford.
Those opportunities are endless, and that's one of the reasons why I contacted Diane Edwards, who I met at one of our diaspora conferences in Montego Bay, and from JAMPRO, and she said she was very much willing to be part of the Zoom meeting last year. I think it was last April, if memory serves me correctly. So the produce that can come up, the perishables that can come up here via cargo, it's endless. We have restaurants in Jamaica and in Hartford. In Hartford, that likes to pride themselves in saying, "Oh, my seasoning come direct
from Jamaica." No, you have. Listen to me. I want the Minister of Agriculture, the Honorable Pearnel Charles Jr., yes, who may get a message from this program. He better come up with Ed Bartlett for the inaugural flight. You know why? To come and tell people in the restaurateurs and people like you, Andrew Lawrence, in Hartford, look here, when the plane coming up next week, it's going to bring so much of scallion, so much yellow yam, so much jimbaling, so much ackee. Yes,
and pear.
And fresh, and the farmers supposed to be able to make that not just a once-off thing, but a regular thing. That is how we earn foreign exchange, gentlemen.
Andrew, you know how many farm workers we have in Hartford now?
No, there are numerous farms that are here in the Suffield, Windsor area. We had Amazon took over a vast piece of property that was doing tobacco farming there, so they took that over and built one of their warehouses. But we still have a lot of farms that are there. We also have nurseries that a lot of the farm workers come and work there. So the other thing to emphasize is, and I keep going back to this gentleman right now, is Ambassador Johnson's passion for the farm worker. And what he said was, in his encouragement for me to keep moving forward with this initiative, is that when the farm workers come to New York, they get a direct flight, they're put in buses and they're moved.
Yes.
And he used a certain word that I'm not going to use publicly, and it hurt him to know that happened. That's happening, right? When they come to a connecting airport, most of them have never traveled before. Most of them have limited capacity of different things, yes? And they miss the connecting flight because they don't know where to go. So he said this will help the farm workers. So the Minister of Labor and Social Security, I think, that handles the farm workers.
Yes.
I hope you're listening. There's someone, a representative, because this is an opportunity now to have the farm workers use Spirit Airlines to get to Hartford, Connecticut. Once they land, they do 91 North, right into Massachusetts, right into Rhode Island, right into Vermont. You don't have to go through New York anymore. You don't have to do a connected flight.
Andrew, let me say this to you, and we are serious, but I'll give you a little laughter, because Ronnie is saying everything that comes here, I have a history connection.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Because see what happened now, Erwin. If I was still driving my cab in New York, driving from Idlewild, which is Kennedy, to Hartford, which is my biggest fear.
Yeah, I know. You miss out on a fear now.
And as Minister of Labor and Social Security, I had this dream that one day we could fly from Jamaica to Hartford.
Yeah, man.
And Tony tried his best. That's Tony Johnson.
Yes.
Right? So I'm glad.
You know, gentlemen, it was also one of the missive, and Andrew bear me out, of Air Jamaica at the time.
Yes.
Because that was also part of the expansion plans for Air Jamaica, because of the power of Hartford. Hartford really is a very strong community, and a strong community there. But you know, the few moments we have left, and I wanted to share this because Andrews has had a history of being at the cutting edge of doing things that are not normal. And one was when he secured a fire truck for Jamaica, a kind of machinery that up to that point I don't think Jamaica had such. And it ended up being the missing fire truck. One of those good deeds that almost went bad and caused significant challenges as to how folks here in the diaspora organized to get things done for Jamaica, or things can just go off the track. But that fire truck, Andrew, share with us quickly the history of that, because it really resonated a lot in Jamaica back in the years.
Well, I'll give you the history of that. If you just give me a couple of minutes, let me explain the latter part of the Spirit. Can I do that?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, yes. So accelerating to November 30th, 2015, Ambassador Ralph Thomas was invited back to Hartford again from the Caribbean Trade Council. And Evans from the U.S. Department of Commerce again put together a meet at Bradley International Airport, and that's what started it again. So, and then we moved. So it's important to know that it paused for a while and it started again, and that's why I want to say that so I can go back to the fire truck. And in 2020, I approached Representative Bobby Gibson because I took it as far as I could take it now with Alfred McDonald from the Airport Authority of Jamaica at the time. And from there, Bobby Gibson got legislation presented, a bill presented in the State House for awareness. They were looking for $2 million loss waiver guarantee in order to make sure that the airline can operate and not operate at a loss, and we lose it after it, we have the agreement. Well, here's what happened. We did what we needed to do, did all the navigation, received the funds this year. The governor of the state of Connecticut, Governor Ned Lamont, placed the $2 million that was needed in his budget, in the state budget, to make this thing happen. Yes. So that's how important and the strength of our community and what that governor and all of the state representatives, they see our community and Jamaica. Yeah. Now, Jamaica is the only stop. Trinidad, Barbados, and so forth, the other small islands, the way I devised it and designed it, there's going to be a connectivity component, which is currently going to have to be worked on in Jamaica. To use Jamaica as the hub for the rest of the Caribbean. So everyone is going to benefit from it. So now, going back to the fire truck component, when the Honorable Portia Simpson Miller was the Minister of Local Government, she sent to the embassy a request for firefighting equipment. Me being the Northeast Director of Public Safety, it came to me. Because when we did it, it was called security from the Jamaica Diaspora Advisory Board standpoint. But I wanted to include the firefighters also because they are public safety and the Jamaica Defense Force. So I presented the document to the then Fire Chief Charles Steele with a list of items that were needed. Well, after about a year, he called me and said, I have everything. In addition to that, I have something else. So he told me I have tires. I said, wait a minute, what do I need tires for? I don't know. We have foam for the runway. Okay, that's nice, great. Okay, what else? He said, and we have a 100-foot ladder fire truck we want to donate. I looked at him and I said, fire truck? He goes, yes. What happens is this: based on insurance regulations with the city, when the fire truck gets to a certain age, they have to take it out of service and they donate it to a country. So because I already initiated the request for the other donations, the fire truck came to Jamaica. There was some challenges in getting it down because of the size and stuff, and we worked that out. Well, by the time it got there, then, it was supposed to go to Montego Bay, the sister city. But for a 100-foot ladder fire truck, that was too huge for that city. So then Minister of Transport and Works, Minister Bobby Montague, said he's going to send it to the Ian Fleming Airport, Boscoville Airport at the time, so it can service the North Coast and it can be parked underneath one of the airplane hangars, because there is no building that we have in Jamaica that accommodates that size fire truck. From there, I think Minister Montague went to another ministry, and the fire truck moved from Boscoville to Kingston to the training center. And after it got to Jamaica, that was it. I didn't have any other reason to be involved, because my involvement was to get it to Jamaica. So now Jamaican authorities have all the authority to move it all over the place.
My goodness.
Well, the mayor of Montego Bay came here in 2012 to Hartford and asked the then mayor, another mayor, for a fire truck. So he said, no problem. How's the other one working? She said, what other one? We don't have it. And so now there's like, wait a minute, where's this fire truck? So, statements keep bobbing around, moving around. And now I'm in my pension years, guys, right? And how the pension system works here is the best 3 of your last 5 years is when you make your pension for the rest of your life. So now in 2013, February, they launched an investigation as to the missing fire truck. Where is the missing fire truck?
We allow for clear.
Because
with all of this now I'm in a state of panic. My poor mother at the time was in a state of panic. Her blood pressure went to like 212 over 160.
No.
Yeah, this is serious.
So wait till so.
Yeah. So, I was in internal affairs at the time also, right? So what happened is I did a personal transfer. I said, listen, because this is in internal affairs, I don't want it to appear that I am getting involved in the investigation. I don't want to be in the department the same time. So what I did was I transferred myself out, temporary back to patrol. That was one of the hardest things for me to do, because now I'm in the street, going back and forth, doing my patrol duties as a supervisor. And this was on Channel 3 News, Channel 30. Everybody knew. And
in fact, stick up in, Andrew. Gentlemen,
yes.
In fact, it was one of those Ridley's comments, Pearnel and Ronnie, where he said, how do you steal a fire truck? That was...
Right. No, but we need, before the time runs out, yes. We need to know how the story ended.
Yes.
Okay, this is how it ended. So now, we have a gentleman by the name of Pearnel Charles. I mean, not Pearnel Charles, Erwin Clear, right? And Bobby Montague, that literally stand up on a donkey, as we say in Jamaica, and go, oh, no. And Patrick Beckford and said, no, you guys are not going to do this to him. That's not how it went. And they were very, very, very persistent in making sure that my name was cleared. And it was explained where the fire truck went and why it went there. So I have to thank Erwin Clear. I have to thank Patrick Beckford. I have to thank Bobby Montague for standing up for me publicly in the arena, and also Veronica Erie Wilson from Hartford, and most of the Hartford individuals that know that my integrity is unquestioned, it's unparalleled. There's no way I would be able to...
You'd have stolen a fire truck. You'd have stolen a fire truck.
Or steal anything. No, you don't get to internal affairs by having a low integrity.
What this proves is that no good deed ever remains unpunished.
There you go.
What a life.
Yes.
So where is the fire truck now? What is it?
Erwin, what's the conclusion?
The fire truck is somewhere in Jamaica?
Well, it would have aged out by now, but it was used in many of their training exercises.
Yes.
Oh, it was used?
Yes.
It was okay.
If I remember correctly, that's a fire truck that put out the fire
at the Hilton Hotel.
Okay.
Yes.
So that was the only instrument they had that could do that.
Could.
Oh, yes, because once we had no fire truck that could go up if there was a problem in the hotel.
What a story. And what is important is that Andrew Lawrence has kept his faith in this phlegmatic Jamaican society, despite all of these asperities.
Well, what happened is that between the time of the investigation and the time of my retirement was literally December 4th, 2015. The meeting that I referred to with Ambassador Thomas was November 30th. So that's when I came back out in the open, because I said, now my pension is protected. So guess what? I can go back and start doing my work for Jamaica again and for the Caribbean.
Indeed.
Well, we have every reason to thank you, and indeed the applause is most appropriate.
Indeed.
Andrew Lawrence, keep on keeping on, man, and fly the Jamaican flag high, and we look forward not only to plane loads of Hartford people coming home or coming to visit, but also plane loads of produce and people coming in the return direction.
Indeed.
Mr. Thwaites, there's also one more thing with cargo.
Yeah.
And Andrew, I will accept
loved ones that are being transported back to Jamaica from a funeral home.
Yes,
that's that was another person that was on the Zoom meeting.
Yes,
As a matter of fact, that's...
And I will accept you as part of my family, okay?
All right.
Wonderful. Yes.
Gentlemen.
St. Anne Matthew.
Indeed.
This is the magic of the connection that we do on the bridge. Erwin Clare, thank you so much for the global connection today. Looking forward to next week, and many blessings to Andrew Lawrence and his mission.
All the best.
All the best till we come again. Take a break on the public eye on the bridge 99 FM. We're linking with our people all over the world. The Global Connection was the first hour with Ira Jam in New York. Coming up later in this segment is Dr. Howard Reed, head of the director of the Mona Institute of Applied Scientists. We're going to talk about castor oil. We're going to talk about black gold and what that can mean for Jamaica. In the meanwhile, I want to talk to you a bit about public confidence. We were talking about the confidence in us as Jamaican people to stand up for ourselves, be our own masters on more than paper. Yes? The Urban Development Corporation is reported in the press this morning. Auditor General's report to Parliament, losing a lot of money. Why? She says bad management. bad decisions. Pearnel, we have government, whichever government, the public service, has to distinguish itself for its trustworthiness.
Yeah, but let me tell you something that you would know. And since nobody else is hearing what I'm saying to you, I'm going to say it to you completely. We, as politicians, have been given and taken the blame.
Yes.
We have not. It's not politicians run these things.
No, but then we must be seen to do something decisive about it.
I will be seen to prevent something from happening.
Well, look at.
But it don't go that way, because the same team that was with you is the same team that is with me.
But we're going on
the same thing that
yes.
And if you make any problem, you don't come back.
Well, this is the point. But then
they never lose. They can't lose.
No, but then we fall prey to that.
Yes.
Yes. And the net effect is that you reduce faith, trust in the very institutions that are necessary to change the culture.
Well, let me say this to you. You've been listening to the polls.
I have.
And
frightening.
I will tell you one major thing that bothers me.
Right. Don Anderson.
Well,
yeah.
The questions that are asked. What answer could you give other than that?
Well, what
you're not dealing with Ronnie Thwaites, who can analyze and make presentation. You're dealing with people who are some here.
Well, no, I grant you that, and that has a lot to do with the popularity of particular people or their unpopularity. Yes, but what frightened me about the polls is the fact that there are so many people who are turned off from the system, and if you look at those who say that they are completely turned off and have no intention to vote, and add to those the ones who don't know. Yeah. Yes, they're a striking majority.
All right, hold on now. I'm glad you come there, because this is one of my paragraphs in my final documentation. That politics is a problem. The politics is a problem.
Well, fancy that.
Hold on. Because you and I have an approach that dominates the minds of the people. So when you go and ask them a question, well, let me go a little further. Look at the vote. There are 3 elections that I can say we have more than 60% or 50%.
Yeah.
What was happening at that time? Why had 80% people voted in 1980?
Suppose crisis, a sense of
internal.
Yeah.
Which are the other one we had? In other words, all the elections that have passed, that you have more than 50 or 60% people vote, there was a so-called described crisis.
So how do you move a society in positive directions? Some of the radical lurches that have to take place, whether it is in economy, whether it is in productivity, education, yes, all of social reorganization. How do you move a people if most of them are saying, boy, we really trust you, we don't know what you're coming with? Yes?
Leadership. I know, let me tell you, leadership, not only political leadership, but there is a amount of people in Jamaica that leads.
Right.
And if they are quieted, if they don't move, and they don't vote, they send money to both parties. So whoever wins, they're in.
Well, yes, but then, you see, resources, money, power, the power of money is supposed to enable, not disable. And in fact, and it must be used if it is going to have any purpose, because you can't take it with you. It is supposed to be used to benefit a broad good rather than a personal thing. But where's that ethic? Who's preaching that ethic? Yes, this is and we can't confuse. No. You persuaded me that while we are still in the constitutional order, we have to send Governor General and Prime Minister to England for the Queen's burial. Yes. Why didn't Andrew Holness accept appointment to the Privy Council, Her Majesty's Privy Council?
But
what for?
Well,
he's disengaging Yes, on our behalf.
Yes.
So, but then he at the same time as he's disengaging, he is re-engaging. How'd that go?
Just like I have said to you, somebody said to me, how could Mr. Patterson retire as QC?
Yeah. But the QC at least QC is a professional qualification.
No, but if you are separating, well, if you are separating,
no, I asked a question.
He says retiring, not resigning.
No. I understand. As far as I'm concerned,
thing with it.
So Jamaica, let's be consistent.
Yeah.
Jamaican lawyers should have adopted the title of senior counsel to distinguish those of experience and quality long before.
Yeah, but they make the man lose their money.
No, they could have kept their money that way. But
I don't think so, because when a QC...
I cannot understand how our Prime Minister goes and becomes a Privy Councillor. He could have avoided that.
I have no doubt.
Yes. Well, anyway.
He may feel that he don't want to disrespect those who have offered.
Well, he's signaling something to his people, because it's not a personal thing only. It involves everyone. But apart from that, the building of trust, where is the leadership that is going to build trust in the institutions of the state, the institutions of government, the trust that needs to exist, that filters down into the relationship between the principal of the school and the parents, like in Westmoreland, in the trust that exists in the family, in the extended Lawrence family of St. Anne, or the Charles family that knows no bounds.
Yes.
I mean, all of these things, we have to build trust in difficult times. How do we do this?
Manny, are we educated sufficiently to demonstrate personal trust? No. Are we still being led by a group within our own society who was fortunate to get an education, fortunate to get some money and house leave for them and some land, and fortunate to be employing us, the majority? What does the majority, how does the majority trust other than what boss say? Or what he who going to feed me say? He who will help me get a house.
Okay, let me concede that that's the situation we find ourselves in. Let us spend a minute before we invite our guests.
Just before you, just hold that point, because I want one point.
Make it.
The person who is going to determine that is the person at the top. And he's at the top with education, he's at the top with financial, he's at the top with class, he's at the top with all of those. Education too.
That's why I would call him most honorable, and therefore he has to. He or she has to lead in that regard. And if they do not have a vision that improves trust and bonding and committee and togetherness and cooperation in the society, I have no time for them.
Yeah, but Manny, let us leave from you, because you have reformed yourself. I have reformed myself. But I've been fortunate. I got an education.
Yeah.
And that put me with a profession.
Mm-hmm.
How many of us can say that?
Well, surely then what we have to do is to emphasize the breadth and depth of education.
That is number one. And let's go to those who have been educated.
Right.
I told you how unhappy I was to have gone up to the university.
Mm-hmm.
And see a graduating class to be next year. Mm. And the kind of dress that I said the students have. Mm-hmm. I said, but what? I said, some have on something they couldn't wear out in Papine. But they graduated, and guess what? They all gone to the tailor and to the dressmaker Monday morning in order to go and get a job downtown.
Okay.
So what is confusion is bothering me?
Well,
who sees that?
Well, but then why does that happen? That happens because we are indeterminate about our standards. I mean, up to yesterday that became clear. Here's Minister Williams saying, "Look here, the schools have to set their rules," and Minister Terrelong is saying that's not important.
But holy word.
Which one is right?
No, don't ask which one is right.
Why?
You and I know going to determine. Because as far as I'm concerned, if a school don't have any standards, if the principal don't have any leadership, to guide my child, I am not sending my child.
Agreed.
Here. No, so when a school set a standard, when KC say we are going to wear khaki
and wear a tie,
we're going to have a tie, and that is KC standards.
Don't come without it.
Don't come, and if you come, you expect the principal to say, "Oh boy, when I want Charles and Ronnie call up my name, so come in." So, Ronnie, we set standards.
So you but
you go by standards.
The standards have to be reasonable standards.
Yes, and they are reasonable.
Well,
because guess what? If you cannot afford the suit that Casey offer, there's an alternative. Not to leave the school, but the principal
can make arrangements.
And the government can make arrangements for you to get.
No, I agree. No, but then you see, there are those who will argue and say, but you must. What is important is what is in the child's head, not is what on their backs.
What is going to Ronnie? How is going to get in your head if you don't get to school? Exactly. And if the school set a standard, and it's not the principal set the standard.
No, I'm playing devil's advocate because I agree with that, but I think some of what we have to do is to make sure that the standards of grooming are reasonable, and I'm
and those who cannot afford
are provided for.
Sure, but you must have standards.
Charles.
If you don't have standards,
King of Jamaica, socialist. Excellent. Proto-socialist.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. I've been called even more than that. When Errol Anderson, Clifton Stone, and myself joined the BITU with our university radical approach to change and bring back. Lightburn wasn't quite comfortable with these young communists that came in the Labour Party. And I think it started Siaga and Tavares, new incoming generation that are speaking like how we're talking now.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the centerpiece of what I wanted to share with you this segment is that we have to intentionally, incessantly try to build trust amongst ourselves and among our people. And what happened in Parliament yesterday with Minister Johnson Smith's finances for her Commonwealth campaign, why not just tell people the truth? Who get the money? And it's done.
No, but hold on. Stop right there. 3 people who gave money say, I don't have a problem if you go and call my name. Hold on. Suppose the rest of them say, no way you call up my name.
No, well,
what are you going to do?
Well, no, I'm accepting.
You're going to give them back the money?
No, I'm accepting plain and straight. Yes, that all contributions of a campaign, whether it is campaign for Secretary General or for local government elections or for general elections, must be declared open. If I'm giving I'm giving a money, I should, or any other contribution, I should be willing to stand up for that fact.
You should, because you are a radical running to it.
No, because
hold on.
Because I believe in trust and transparency.
I have gone to people already for a contribution.
Right.
And I know my opponent have gone to the same person.
Right.
And the person have given me X amount, and given my colleague, my opponent, X amount.
Yeah.
And as far as it's concerned, anyone who want to win can win. Yeah. I am on that side.
So what is against saying just that I'm a citizen, I believe in the political process and in assisting it, and therefore I contributed X dollars to Pearnel and Y dollars to his opponent. What is wrong? Therefore, you take away all of the underhandedness. You know exactly where people are. You are not in any way ashamed to be a Jamaica Labour Party supporter. Neither am I to be a PNP member. So we want to give these things the nobility that they require. Not that you're hiding up something.
Yeah, but hold on. You just said something a while ago.
What?
I told you on this very program the reason why I wouldn't want to see I get up one day and Labour Party win all the seats.
Yeah.
Because the democracy that we are talking about would be dead.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want the PNP to get more seats than the JLP. But I don't want the JLP to do anything to prevent the PNP from getting seats.
Got you.
Because that wouldn't be the democracy that I want to see.
Yeah.
So our democracy is threatened when one side play the game in such a way that they play themselves out.
Well, the point of the matter is that we must discourage this. And one of the ways we discourage this is by building up trust and integrity in the process itself. Mrs. Holness said once in Parliament, the Parliament you presided over, that we say such things and express so much disdain for each other,
yes,
that when other people do it outside, we feel bad, but we have brought this upon ourselves.
Yes, Ronnie.
So therefore, if this is a public issue, how Jamaica or Jamaicans, certain Jamaicans, indicated support for Mrs. Johnson Smith's bid to be Commonwealth Secretary General. Yeah. Come forward and say, I committed this money towards it.
Yeah,
what could be the basis for hiding?
No, hold on, Ronnie. I will tell you what the basis.
Yeah.
There are people who say, I don't want to get involved. I have gone to people already who say, listen, I will give you no contribution. I don't want nobody call my name.
Oh,
so
why?
you either take it or left it.
No, but why?
There are many reasons, Ronnie.
Uh-huh.
And I tell you one of the strong reasons.
Uh-huh.
And
don't we have to move away from that, though?
No, yes.
And
but
therefore,
to move away from it is to tell the man, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want your money.
You know
that you can't do that because you want the money.
Well, you know another thing to do? Yeah. For us to agree that campaign financing proposals that are on the table for years and years should become accepted, and that contributions beyond a certain level should be declared in either publicly or in some other way, that because what is feared is that when you give and it's clandestine, that you open yourself for influence peddling, and you know how dangerous that can be, and I know too.
Yes, but it's not. Hold on, it's not everybody is like that, and I will tell you why. Butch Stewart, I'll call his name. Butch Stewart gave a number of potential parliamentarians money. I don't know if he gave the party money, but
that's good.
He gave
individuals.
I got a check.
Uh-huh. You're
and
lucky.
I'm able to turn back and say, thank you.
Yeah.
Follow me?
Uh-huh.
I wasn't told that he sent one to the party.
Uh-huh.
But I know my PNP friend get two.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
You didn't pick up your mail.
No, I didn't get any mail.
And I say that in appreciation.
Fine.
To Butch, that has never asked me a favor.
No, and he being who he was, he wouldn't do that, and that's to his credit. Yeah. But the public perception is that kisses go by favor, and that is why you contribute. No, whether it's true or not, it is something we want to avoid, because what is the ultimate objective? It is to build trust. And we cannot build trust when we are hiding things. And
so when, for example,
mm-hmm.
and I don't want to call his name because I know if I was quoted properly. And it's a man I have a lot of respect for. Last week, the cameras were on him.
Uh-huh.
The reporters were writing,
uh-huh.
and his statement was that until Ronnie Thwaites
mm-hmm.
and Pearnel Charles,
mm-hmm.
the politicians,
mm-hmm.
cut from the gangs,
yeah.
we won't have it.
Yeah.
I think it is out of order.
I do too.
And
I do too. And
I think the other guy who spoke, I think it might have been, I'm going to call it, I think it might have been Young Distant,
mm-hmm.
who said, until those of us
mm-hmm.
who are fighting this matter,
yeah.
do the separate. That sounds better.
Yeah.
Because it's not only PNP or JLP,
if you're going to,
or big man, or small man.
And if you are going to tar me
yeah.
with an allegation like that, which
yeah.
is a criminal allegation,
yes,
and you have absolutely no evidence of this effect,
Ronnie,
that is wrong.
It hurts me.
Of course, me
because
too.
It hurt me.
Yeah.
Hurt my son.
Of course.
Hurt my daughter. Who are politicians.
And you should be, and you're proud of them. And so am I.
Listen, and to say that they
yeah.
have gangs.
Yeah.
Now.
There you are. Shouldn't go that way.
I don't want to go in the front.
We have a break, but we're making the point. When we come back, we have our guests. This is The Public Eye and The Open Mind. Thanks for being with us on the Bridge 99 FM. The program is The Public Eye. I'm Ronnie Thwaites. The Honorable Pearnel Charles, Order of Jamaica, is the co-host. Welcome, Dr. Howard Reed.
Dr. Reed?
Dr. Howard Reed is
thank you very much.
We're happy to have you, sir. Good afternoon.
It's fantastic to you, actually.
Good. Director of the Mona Institute of Applied Sciences at the University of the West Indies. Dr. Reed, we're anxious to hear from you. What's Jamaica's black gold? What's happening to our connection? Listen, when you talk about...
I think I'm having trouble hearing you.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it any better now? We're hearing you. Hello. Maybe you want to try the connection again.
No. It's coming.
We're only hearing.
You want me to try again?
I think we better try you again. So let the producers do that. We'll continue our discussion until you can assure us that you have a good connection. Thanks very much. Pearnel, the monitor in the studio is telling us of the respect that's being paid by the British people and all their guests to Queen Elizabeth as she lies in state. Yes. There was an article in the New York Times, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that pointed out that while he was waiting for his turn as Prince of Wales, Prince Charles, now King Charles, has become a phenomenally wealthy man.
Yes. Because
he could build up his businesses. He doesn't pay any tax. And he takes advantages of the various concessions that are appropriate to royalty. But I have a problem.
Why?
Because he doesn't have to pay tax, but he's allowed to take tax out of you and me.
Yes.
How'd that go?
No, how does
Where's the fairness go?
How does he take tax out of you?
Because his government, yes?
His what?
His government.
Yeah.
Has a power of taxation. His government has a power of...
take tax out of the British people you're talking?
No, the British people.
Not...
well, remember, he's king of Jamaica too.
Yeah, but he don't get no money from
Jamaica. He doesn't have any estate in Jamaica.
No. And he gives to Jamaica.
I'm not sure.
At least he pay the Governor General.
No, he don't pay the Governor General. We pay the Governor General, sir. Huh? We pay the Governor General. We pay the Governor General to be the representative of the monarch of England in Jamaica. That is convoluted folly.
No, but other than that, you'd be paying him to be president of Jamaica.
Which I would be happy to do.
All right, well, let's go.
Dr. Reed, are you there?
I am.
Happy to join you. We're diverting ourselves with an interesting political discussion while we're waiting on Dr. Howard Reed to tell us about Jamaica's liquid gold. Please tell us how you've come to this position and how we can all benefit from these discoveries.
But essentially, what we're looking at is, and most of us in Jamaica we know what's called oil nuts, right? It's castor oil seeds, which make Jamaican black castor oil. And Jamaican black castor oil has a history of about 400 years. It came across with our ancestors who were formerly enslaved. And it's been a tradition that has been a part of Jamaican village life. From the plantation right through to present day, it's been used as a liniment, it's used as an emollient. It's something that is a part of our structure. And it's an oil that when we migrated to Central America, to the United States, Canada, to the UK, we took with us. And it's now a huge cosmetic oil, nutraceutical oil, which has a global value in trade of $300 million.
Wow. Just all castor oil or castor oil of the particular type that we grow in Jamaica has that value, Dr. Reed?
Just Jamaican black castor oil. The global trade in castor oil is $1.8 billion. The Jamaican black castor oil is $300 million.
Well,
and Ronnie and Pearnel, the sad thing, though, is that Jamaican black castor oil from Jamaica only makes up $5 million of that.
Dr. Reed.
Yes, sir.
You have such information that the rest of us don't know. Because I was told and I think it came from somewhere in South America, their type of castor oil. And I planted it, and the ants really...
Ants?
Yam it out.
Oh.
The seeds.
Uh-huh.
I didn't get it come up. But what he's telling us now that our old-time castor oil is better than that one?
It is, and essentially what happened is that the castor oil that's been here for 400 years has really had resistance to all the diseases we have here. So our traditional oil nut is dehisces, what they call pops. So it's a little bit more difficult to gather, but in terms of the seeds, in terms of the oil that's made from it, has been something that has been treating our ancestors for 400 years.
Yeah, but I know that we've been using what we call oil nut, Ronnie. Oil nut, a lot of that in the country. But the gold one that is used for certain type of oil used in the airplane and all of these things is a new type of castor oil.
Dr. Reed is saying that it is a traditional oil nut that is the valuable one. Do I understand you, sir?
I'm not. What I'm saying is that so there are different kinds of castor oil, including the oil that Pearnel that you just spoke about. So you have chemically extracted castor oil, which is used in the commercial trade, including for Castrol in terms of engine, using paint, etc. And that's really the lowest value castor oil. You have extracted castor oil by various means. But the Jamaican black castor oil is unique. It's an oil that is made from roasting, from mashing, traditionally in mortar and pestle,
yes,
and then boiled. And then that boiled oil is skimmed off, and that's what makes the Jamaican black castor oil.
And that is what people use in their hair. That is what people, you give school picnic to purge them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what has happened, when we moved, it's a very exciting cosmetic oil, and both for the hair and skin. And it's used now in the global trade in cosmetics. And the Jamaican black castor oil is by far the most valuable castor oil on the market. It's 5 to 7 times the value of any other castor oil.
Hear that now. So, Doc, I have to have you been able to trace why it is that we have undervalued this product, and can you take us through the story of its resurgence? I'm a devotee of going to Denby Agricultural Show, and I remember going several years ago and being told of the resurgence of black castor oil, but I haven't got the impression that we are cashing in on this tremendous opportunity. What say you?
Not yet, and this is where now. So a little bit of the history. So Jamaican black castor oil has really been a sort of cottage industry. Small people, particularly the women of Jamaica, have been making Jamaican black castor oil for centuries. And you would give it to your friend, sell a little here, somebody come from abroad, you'd sell it.
Sure, buy it in Coronation Market.
But yes, what has happened is that as we have moved across the world, the oil has moved with us. And it has spread. So the Jamaican diaspora and the Caribbean diaspora in particular, as you know, it's numerous.
Sure.
Their audience is well over 2 million, in terms of the tri-state area, and in the UK and different parts. So what has happened is that the world has opened up and realized the value of Jamaican black castor oil. And what has happened really is that foreigners, non-Jamaicans, particularly out of India and China, have been making what is called Jamaican black castor oil.
Have mercy.
Yes. So 295 million, which should be coming to us, is going overseas.
Mr. Produce Reed, that which is uniquely and authentically ours?
Correct. And associated with us for centuries.
My head hurt me, Pearnel.
No, my head not hurt. This hurting me. People like Dr. Reed, and I'm sure a whole host of them, know this thing. And castor oil is still a pop, you know what I mean? When the sun hot, it come pop and fly out.
Yeah.
A country. Yeah. Nobody pick it up. Nobody use it. We have not been guided that here is the gold. Plant it or pick it. So the woman pick a few pieces, boil it and bottle it and put in here, rub your skin, right? So this goal that you're talking about, it's not goal to us.
Well, I want to ask Dr. Reed, do you know of, I've heard of some commercial cultivation of castor beans in Clarendon. Is it increasing?
It's increasing, but just to give you a little bit of context. So the Monash Institute of Applied Sciences got involved in this industry about 3 years ago. And essentially, we partnered with the Jamaica Baptist Union. They have a project, a Grow Castor Bean project.
The Baptist Union.
Baptist Union. So it's really a merger between academia and the church.
That's wonderful.
Yes, and they were reaching out to hundreds of farmers across the island. And what we did is headed by a wonderful social entrepreneur, Dr. Judith Johnson. So we got together, we looked at the industry, and what we realized is that, listen, the world has commercialized this thing, but we haven't done so. So we looked at it and we put in a proposal to the a program called Complete Caribbean Partnership Facility, which is a joint program of the Inter-American Development Bank, the Foreign and Commonwealth and Development Office of the United Kingdom, the Canadian government, and the Caribbean Development Bank. And they are looking at innovation across 13 Caribbean territories. And we also liaise with the Jamaica Castor Industry Association, which is a local agency that really drives the industry here. And what we did is that we got funding. And the funding said, okay, were they able to imitate and see, and take away what's ours? And essentially what happened, gentlemen, is that we never told the world what Jamaican black castor oil is. So what we're doing now is developing a standard for Jamaican black castor oil with the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. So the Monash Institute at the UWI is doing the field work now. We have divided the island into 220 microclimatic zones. We're finding different kinds of castor. What we're doing, we're taking DNA samples, we're taking seed samples, and we're going to look for the commonality, because the lawyers tell us we have to find a commonality in the seed material. And once we have the standard, we're looking to develop what's called a geographic indication, a GI, which will allow our producers in Jamaica to put a mark on the castor oil and will forbid or stop other persons from calling their oil Jamaican black castor oil. So that's a first step.
But can we take the intent for the deed, Dr. Reed? Can we get the cultivation going on acres and acres of idle irrigated land, for example, that we have between St. Andrew and Clarendon? Lord.
Dr. Reed, just before you answer that question, because I am concerned what I'm hearing. From St. Ann, castor oil just grow by itself where tansy grow.
Yeah.
It's not in any level land.
No.
And when it fit, it just pop and drop.
Yeah.
Okay? First time here that anybody want to commercialize the Jamaican kind.
Yes.
And Carl James, who you know,
sure,
and a tennis partner of mine, decided that there's a kind of castor oil that he has discovered, I don't know who in Jamaica else, that he has planted so many acres out in St. Catherine.
Well, he's a good Baptist, so I'm sure he may be connected with Dr. Reed.
Could have been.
Yeah.
But what has happened now? It's gone. I don't hear any. There's nobody who picked it up.
Well, here's Dr. Reed to tell us that.
Dr. Reed, we have so many hillsides that castor oil can grow on.
But we need
we don't have any leadership, no guidance.
Okay, here it's coming. That's why he's on today.
Right, and find the Minister of Agriculture.
Well, let's hear more. Dr. Reed, so what are the prospects going forward? You're telling us of all of the particular standards that will allow you to get trademark recognition and product identity. But can we wait until all those things are done? Is that a long process? What do you think?
No, it's not a long process. So essentially, the research work started in 2020. We got interrupted by COVID, and we're about to restart. And it will take another 4 or 5 months to finish the field work. Then the reports will go in, and we'll start working with the Bureau on the standard and perhaps GI with JIPO soon after that. So it may take another year. But in terms of, to answer, Pearnel, your question, what happens is that our competitors grow castor on a very large scale, with economies of scale. Secondly, one of the things that we haven't done as yet, we know we are finding a number of accessions of different types of varieties of castor, but we need to select which ones are the best cultivars. So we have to build the basis of an industry, and that's what's happening now. And thirdly, one of the challenges you have is that if you go and plant without securing the market, what tends to happen in Jamaica, and we know stories of this, where people go and plant acres of stuff, but there's no market. So it has to be a really systematic process, and that's what we're trying to achieve at the moment.
So let's look at, we understand what you're doing from one end, but are we coming together from the other end, Dr. Reid? Because it seems to me that we ought to be seeking those markets now. I'm dying to ask you if there's a seed bank that's going to be available in months or a year's time, because while you're doing all of this sifting and winnowing and legal and scientific stuff, we want to begin to have something in the ground, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's on the way. So, for example, the JBU Growcaster Bean Cluster, they have a team of farmers that are already in the ground planting.
Good.
It needs to be expanded. It needs to be expanded with Jamaican varieties of castor seeds. And to your question, we're collecting from every single accession we find across the island. So we're putting together a seed germplasm bank.
Mm-hmm.
From that, we will then select cultivars. So yes, so that is in train.
Yeah.
Dr. Reid, let me just bounce two things off of you. One, you have to tell me whether goat eat it.
Yes.
Right?
What kind of question is that, Mr. Charles?
No, let me tell you. You'll be very interested.
Yeah.
One of the things that bothers the farmers, when they plant it, goat
eat it.
Eat it down. Now, there's one of them that goat don't eat.
Yes.
The next thing is...
let him answer that question. Dr. Reid, you know anything about the goat and the castor oil, sir?
What we're finding is that the imported varieties,
Stop laughing.
we find that goats eat it.
The imported varieties.
But they don't eat the local one.
Yes, see that? No, that is the one very important.
They don't eat the local one.
No.
That's when I hear about this black gold.
Yeah.
First
thing you think about is goat.
No. What I'm talking
You're a real
about.
peasant.
What I'm talking about, Ronnie, is how much gold I lose.
Yes.
Because
you do it.
No man, castor oil, you just pop on your fly them, you sit there and play marble, that's it.
Okay.
And so if this is really a project, I would like to invite this man that I know about, Minister of Agriculture, right? That Dr. Reid, because in the bauxite reclamation lands, on them hillside
you
thing,
really could manage.
You need to. That's the kind of thing that I think could hit those places.
Does it take very fertile, very deep soil, Dr. Reid? Do you know?
It takes a wide variety of soil, so it can grow in the bauxite area, and it has grown. Bauxite.
Well, Dr. Reid,
if I could though, just put where you're going in terms of industry building in context.
Right.
Our total agriculture exports in 2020 was $238 million.
Yeah.
So if we're able to capture this market,
we're gone clear.
Exactly, and you see the difference that it makes in terms. What will happen? Because a lot of the areas, and where Pearnel is talking, it is true, where crime has taken over, are the old sugar lands where people can't find jobs and employment.
Yes.
It actually would provide a wonderful substitute. So this is a project we think should be of national importance. But I want to go further than that now. It allows, so for example, if we're trying to build for a long time a national cosmetic industry.
Yes.
If we're able to produce large volumes of Jamaican black castor oil and other things, it can become the basis of we think, a multinational cosmetic industry. Because within the project, we're doing a number of things. We're trying to make what you call a total industry, right?
Yeah.
So we're developing soap formulations from Jamaican black castor oil. We're looking at using the waste for fertilizer, and we also are working on it using for animal feed. So there's no waste coming from the industry.
Yes.
So it is the kind of modern project, and it is something that I think can make a very positive impact on Jamaica's economy.
Dr. Reid, I would be very happy to join you on your project, because let me tell you something. I know about this castor oil business, I know it don't smell good. So therefore, if you can put perfume in it, that woman can put it in the mirror. It is because Auntie Di used to say, make your hair grow.
Yeah.
But picnic can't sit. So if black castor oil that is the one that I cut down and chop down and goat don't eat, and it could grow up on the backside land, then let me know, because I have some land that I would like to...
You're already. But I want to ask Dr. Reed, can we be competitive? My little experience, Dr. Reed, was in coffee.
Yes.
And I found out that after years of trying to use every legal means to prevent the abasement of the Blue Mountain Coffee name, the best thing to do was not to do that, but rather to produce efficiently and be able to be competitive and beat back the imitators. Is that an example that the castor oil industry might consider?
That's a wonderful example and great question, because the competitors produce at a fraction of our cost.
Oy.
So essentially, we have to get skills.
Mm-hmm.
But secondly, our marketing study, which looked at the U.S. market, the U.S. market alone for Jamaican black castor oil is $28 million US. And most of our $5 million goes to that market.
Right.
When they looked on it, they said, what do the consumers of Jamaican black castor oil want? They want a oil that is from Jamaica. They want it that it's the traditional process, and they want it organic. And they are willing to pay a premium price.
Look at that.
Things are made.
You got your recipe.
That's right. So essentially, it's how do we organize ourselves in a way that you bring down the cost, which is scale.
Uh-huh.
And in terms of the market now, in terms of the large cosmetic firms, many of them use Jamaican black castor oil.
Yeah.
But a lot of them,
Cut it.
not just, yes, but also they use the imitation.
Yeah.
So once we have it, once we're able to say, listen, you can only, and this is very, very important now in terms of where you're going from, in terms of protection against competition. We're able to say, if it's not, and this is why we're doing the work on the plant, if it's not grown from these varieties of castor.
It's not the genuine thing.
It is not made using the Jamaican process. It is not made in Jamaica. Can't call it Jamaican black castor oil.
No, I understand that.
Dr. Reed, let me just say this to you quickly.
Yes.
This is a new thing on me, because people who have gotten into castor oil over the past 2 years is not the Jamaican castor oil. They import castor oil seeds
Oh, Lord.
for a different type of castor oil in Jamaica.
This is exciting.
The only thing I know about the Jamaican castor oil is that until I am my old people in my country, right? Them cook it, crush it, and get the oil for rub your hair or rub with this. And you understand? So if this is something now that can bring money, we just need leadership, investment, and if goat not eat it, and it don't need no whole heap of fertilizer because it's on the hillside.
Yeah, man.
With tansy. I have to chop it down because it hold on the tansy.
Indeed, I had to do that in the coffee field.
So the point is this, that if black castor oil in Jamaica can become
this is exciting.
a top class, let's go. I will join with you. I can't even give you some land.
Oh, give me a call.
You have to turn Baptist.
Right, and we can help you to that. But what I want to say now, and especially Bridge, and this is so important, reaching into the diaspora. The diaspora can help us in many ways. You speak about investments, etc., in terms of opportunities. But in addition to that, they need to be aware that a lot of the JBCO, the Jamaican black castor out there, is not from Jamaica. It's not authentic.
Not you.
So by being educated and aware and supporting the authentic Jamaican black castor oil, and this goes to the US, goes to Canada, it goes to the UK.
That's how they back us up.
That's right.
Got you. Give me 2 sentences about the Mona Institute of Applied Sciences. This is very important. I love the connection that you're doing the research. You're connecting with those who can do some production. Processing is going to be an issue. How do you function? Who funds you?
Well, we're self-financed primarily, apart from some core funding from UWI. To a large extent, we've been around for 20 years, and essentially we work with industry, solving problems. And we're moving increasingly to what we're calling industrial research and innovation for business creation.
I love that. That's how the university must make its money.
I am so proud to hear that. I hear that from Northern Caribbean University and University of the West
Technology
Indies.
University.
They're going into investment.
These are good things. These are good things. Dr. Reed, thanks so much. Can we treat this as an introduction? And we'd love to hear from you as the process develops.
It's been a pleasure talking to both of you gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Dr. Howard Reed, Executive Director of the Mona Institute of Applied Sciences. There's liquid gold in the black castor industry, the traditional castor bean of Jamaica. Thank you, LaFane. Exciting interviewees. I had a doubt, but I'm completely convinced. Thank you to Andrew Lawrence, President and Director of the Caribbean Trade Council, as well as to Dr. Reed, who we've just concluded with, and to Jeffrey Brown, and to Romy, and to LaFane, and to you, Sir Charles. Grateful for your company and for the excitement that this program builds. We mix the critique with the opportunity.
And just tell them that they can listen to the bridge.
Of course, the bridge.
Cross over to the bridge.
Listen, the uniting force in Jamaican and diaspora radio. Till next week when the public eye resumes, we bid you Godspeed.